This is a 2011 supercharged, totally crazy E90 M3, and I just bought it. Today, a dream comes true for me. I've had BMWs in my family since the early 1980s, and this is one of my all-time dream cars. This is a 2011 E90 M3, and for those of you in the M3 community, you'll know exactly what car this is. The only M3 with a V8. It's a 2011, it's an E90, which means it's a sedan. It has 4 doors, and it's supercharged with an ESS 625 supercharger kit, good for 625 horsepower under the hood. This car has just over 77,000 miles on it, and I bought it off a user on m3post.com. His name is Corey. Thank you so much to Corey for making this process as smooth as it humanly could be. I've been researching M3s to purchase for probably 2 decades at this point, but never had the means to do so. And now I finally do, and I have what is arguably the best M3 in existence ever made. As far as I'm concerned, I love the V8 and I love the E90 generation, the E9X generation of M3. So today I'm going to take you on a tour of my new car, but first I want to tell you a little bit about the M3 as a whole, because a lot of you out there may not know about the M3. So let's take a little walk down memory lane and down this history of the M3 and how amazing these cars really are. Now, the M3 has been made since the mid-80s, 1986 to be exact, and it was introduced with the E30 generation. So since 1986 up through now the G20 announcement, it has been made for over 3 decades. The E9X generation, and I'll explain what that means in a minute, was made from 2007 to 2013. The sedan was made from 2008 to 2011, and it was only the second time a sedan was ever made in the M3 genealogy, the other one being the E36 M3 in the 90s. Now, the sedan is a little bit rarer. Obviously, it was made from 2008 to 2011, and it's even rarer if you get it with a manual and it has the ZCP or competition package. The E9X, which means, well, one of 3 different models, had the S65 V8 under the hood, and it had a ton of different options and an amazing aftermarket, which is why this has a supercharger kit, and there's dozens of different supercharger kits out there. Well, maybe not dozens, but there's a lot of different options: twin turbo kits, supercharger kits, as well as NA builds that people have done over the years, and it just runs an amazing gamut of options that you can do to this engine. Now, E9X basically means the E90 generation, but there's 3 different designations. E90 or E90 was the sedan version. It had 4 doors. E92 meant 2 doors, and E93 meant the convertible option. If you're an enthusiast, you sort of know the history of the M3. BMW has taken these things racing since forever. Everyone talks about beating the M3 in this segment. Mercedes, Audi, some American competitors with, even the Mustang. They talk about the M3 as the benchmark to put everything up against, because they're just that good. BMW has honed these things in so well that everyone wants to beat them and sometimes even be them. It is the benchmark sports car, and with a supercharger, a semi-supercar that everyone wants to beat. Right now, I want to walk around the car and talk about this particular M3, a little bit about how I got it, all of its foibles, and then what we're gonna see in the next few videos. So I'm gonna get behind the camera and we're gonna check out my new to me 2011 BMW E90 M3. So here she is, my 2011 BMW M3, and it is an absolute beauty. I'm not gonna walk around the whole thing because there's a giant puddle of mud over here that I didn't realize when I parked here, but here she is in all her glory. I love the sedan look. I think it's just as good, if not better looking than the E92 M3, and that's going to be a very unpopular opinion, and I can already hear the unsubscribes happening, but I love this thing. I think it's great. This is sort of the dad mobile of the M3s because you get 4 doors. You can fit some car seats in the back. I know that in the E92 you can fit car seats, obviously, but it's a little bit more convenient to have 4 doors as opposed to, the 2 or the convertible with 2 and then a convertible. So this is a very, very awesome car. I've been driving it around. I'll give you my impressions in a different video coming very soon, but the engine, the S65 engine, is absolutely legendary. We do know that they have a little bit of issues with rod bearings, if you're in the M3 community, or just know anything about BMW engines. This one has had the rod bearings done, and that is confirmed. So huge issue, completely taken care of in this thing. We have the, I believe it's 329. Or 359 section wheels. These are OEM spec. They have been redone a little bit, it looks like, with a blue kind of trim around it. I'm not a huge fan of that, but that's an aesthetics choice. And there is some curb rashing on these wheels, looks like over here, but no bends, no cracks, and nothing that a quick repowder coating and refinishing can do. They are sitting on Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, which are an amazing tire. I run them on the V70R that I have from Volvo as well. They're 255 35 ZR19s up front. Let's see, in the back we got 275 35 ZR19s. So they are not squared, they are staggered setup, and they just look really good. But you can see here in the back there is a lot more curb rashing and some big kind of chunks taken out of this thing, likely from driving. But yeah, this looks like it's been repaired before over here. You know, nothing that can't be redone. I think I will get these things powder coated eventually, but otherwise they're in pretty good shape. Stance is really good. This is lowered on KW sleeves, so I'm actually gonna raise the car just a little bit, and I think I'm gonna put spacers on to get a little bit better stance, and to raise it just a bit, just because I live in New Jersey and the roads aren't great. I mean, this is a parking lot, but you can already see there's just like, this is what roads look like in New Jersey. This is the parking lots like this, but roads look like it too. So it's not the best. This thing came with a ton of carbon fiber on it. We have the carbon fiber option plates, or on the caps on the mirrors. We also have carbon fiber winglets down here at the bottom. I think I may replace these, but we'll see in the future. A big scrape down here from where it looks like it was either put up against a curb or something, and just some degradation here as well. Same thing here on the other cap, just a couple of stone chips, nothing crazy. But you can kind of see as we go inside as well, carbon fiber everywhere. It is just crazy. We got an M Performance steering wheel from BMW Performance. This thing is amazing, so good to hold. Just carbon fiber all over the place, and it continues into the back as I gingerly step through this disgusting mud. Continued in the back. So really cool that it's a really unified kind of look. There's a lot of goodies that this thing came with, including the original plenum for the engine, which, you know what, let's take a look at the engine now, because what's a BMW M3 E90X video without looking at the very sweet V8. Now this, like I said, has the ESS tuning kit on it. It is the 625 kit. So in theory, this is making 625 horsepower at the crank. Now we're going to take this to the dyno and we are going to confirm that. So you can see the massive supercharger system right here, and it sounds great because this thing actually has an OEM exhaust on it. It originally had an Akrapovic exhaust, but I asked the previous owner to take it off because the price point of the whole car was a little bit too much for me, so he took it off. And I'm going to get my own exhaust put on this thing, but I wanted to experience this car from an OEM standpoint. So that's why I asked him to put the OEM exhaust back on. Now, the engine bay itself is ridiculously clean. Apart from not being like actually clean, it's really nice in here. There's not a ton of wires that are sort of mismatched. And Corey, the previous owner, he works and co-owns, I believe, a Porsche performance shop down in South Carolina called Autometrics. So he knows what he's doing, clearly, and this thing is definitely testament to that. So engine bay is looking really sharp. We'll get that detailed along with the rest of the car eventually, and close that up. Perfect. Now, some other goodies that came with this car. Now, as I walk around back, we can check out da booty, because the rear of these E90X, especially the E90s, look super good. I love this 3/4 shot. I think it's one of the best looking 3/4 shots in the entire auto industry. So let's open the trunk. Original steering wheel, full papers, meth kit, some intakes. We have a sub back here. It definitely has an upgraded sound system. What else we got? There's the original plenum for the intakes and the ITBs. Oh man, just so much good stuff that this thing came with. This thing is fully loaded. It is fully optioned. It's got the heated seats. So just going through the upgrades to this thing, and I actually have the original post from M3 Post. The upgrades are the supercharger, the Akrapovic exhaust switch he took off, the M Performance electronic steering wheel, like I said, KW sleeve kit, M Performance carbon rear trunk spoiler, M Performance carbon mirror caps, carbon interior trim, AEM meth kit, not tuned for it, just for extra safety, and it has an Escort 9500 CI radar detector. What this thing is optioned with from factory is really impressive too. Has almost every option, which includes comfort access, folding mirrors, nav, EDC, auto high beam, split rear seats, rear sunshades, PDC, garage remote, rain sensor, headlight washer, heated seats, and moonroof. So this thing is pretty fully loaded, and just driving it around daily driver wise, it's freaking awesome. So there is the intro to my new to me 2011 E90 M3, and I really couldn't be happier. I've been making some videos today on it, and I think you guys are gonna really enjoy what I shot and what we have to come on this car, because it is really exciting for this channel. Now, us being a smaller YouTube channel, cars like this don't just magically happen. They happen with great partners, and this car happened because of an amazing partner that we have here on Shifting Lanes called Avalon King. It's a ceramic coating company, and they have a product called Armor Shield 9. And I really think you guys need to go to avalonking.com and check out the product, because I have it on my Volvo V70R. It's an amazing product. I've personally had 6 different ceramic coatings on a bunch of different cars that I've owned, and it's the best product hands down. So I have real world experience with this. This isn't just a sponsorship. I've actually tested these things myself, and Armor Shield 9 from Avalon King is the best product I've ever used. I've tested these things. I reached out to them to partner with us, and they said yes. So if you go to avalonking.com and you use the code SHIFT25, that will get you guys $25 off every single purchase you ever make from avalonking.com, or you can check the link in the description below. So thank you to them for being such an amazing partner to this channel, and for us to pass on savings to you guys if you want to ceramic coat your car, which I really implore you to do. And this thing will be fully ceramic coated this spring with Armor Shield 9. So go to their website and just purchase the kit, because it really is amazing, and I believe in the product. I wouldn't put it on my cars otherwise. Use code SHIFT25 for $25 off your entire order for life. So there's one more thing I wanted to mention about this car that I did not, and apologies for that, but I wanted to add this into the video because it's part of the initial video of this, is the price. Now, this car cost $30,500, and I am financing it. So I will tell you why and how that all came to be in another video. But this car is cheaper than a fully loaded Honda Civic, and that is absolutely mind-boggling to me. So you can pick one of these up, and this is actually a more expensive version because it's a 2011, it's a little bit later model, and it's supercharged and has a lot of goodies attached to it. But you can pick up pretty stripped out ones of these from 08 and 09 and even 2010 for under 25 grand all day long. So this thing, this crazy supercharged BMW M3 was less than that. That's an Accord. Is there a Civic around? I really don't see a Civic around, but it's cheaper than that too. This thing is cheaper than a fully loaded Civic. If you go on Honda's website right now and you fully load a Civic and get a whole bunch of little random options on it, this will be cheaper than a new, fully spec'd out Honda Civic. Totally nuts. Now, the history of this car really isn't that sordid, not sorted. There's really not a lot of craziness that's happened in the past with this thing. I'm the 3rd owner. The 2 previous owners were friends and knew each other. One of them was in Texas, the other in South Carolina. This was owned by a guy that owns a race shop. There's really not a lot wrong with this car. There are some things, and we'll go over that in another video. But why did I buy this? A lot of you may be asking, this car seems to be in pretty good shape. If you are familiar with this channel, we've done project cars before on Volvos, and why did we not buy a clapped out, salvage history E90 M3 and rebuilt it? Well, it's because of a few things. We've learned, or at least I've learned, that doing project cars takes a lot of money, and being able to finance something like this and not necessarily throw out a huge chunk of change up front to own a car and then have depreciation hit it will allow us to bring you cool cars for a lot less of a monthly value than, say, you know, spending 20 grand on, you know, making a very raggedy car really, really good over the course of 6 months and not having the funds to do it. So I can bring you cool content for a monthly charge, essentially, if you will, and really just show you what ownership is like of a really cool car, which I've wanted to do ever since we started this YouTube channel. But the main reason why I bought this car is you see a lot of these YouTubers like Tavarish, who I personally know, and I love his content, and I think he's one of the best YouTubers out there for car culture and enthusiasts and rebuilding stuff. You also see guys like B is for Build and Goon Squad and all of these new YouTubers that are taking cars and rebuilding them, but you never really see a lot of what happens after the build is done. This thing is a project car, essentially. It has a supercharger, it's got a lowering kit, it had all the carbon fiber trim redone. So in a way, there's a lot of project-ness to this car, but you never see what happens after those projects are done. So I bought someone else's project car to show you what happens after. Is it reliable? Will things go wrong? Is it gonna break? Whatever else happens after a build is done, that's what I want to bring to you guys. I want to bring you ownership of an amazing car without all of the $70,000 exhaust systems attached to it. So I think that that's a really unique kind of spin, and I hope you guys enjoy it over the next 30, 40, 50, 60 videos that I make hopefully on this car, hundreds of videos on this car, because I love it, I think it's great, and I hope it's around for many years to come. Over the next year, I will be taking this car all over the place, including to the track, the dyno, the drag strip, to meets, to see you guys, talk to you about these cars, and to become more ingrained in the M3 community. I'm also going to compare it to other cars that I own, including my Volvo V70R and my old Aston Martin V8 Vantage. I used to own Doug DeMuro and Tavarish's old Aston Martin V8. I sold that car, unfortunately, and this is sort of the replacement for that in a way. So I'm going to be comparing it to that because it is a purpose-built sports car compared to a purpose-built sports car. So I'm going to compare it to that and just do some fun stuff with it over the course of the next year. And for those of us that follow us for our Volvo content, this is my car, a Volvo V70R. Don't worry, we have so much coming up with our Volvos that it's going to be hard to film all of the Volvo content in the next year as well, because this car is new and exciting, but we still have so much to do with my V70R personally. I'm going to be comparing this car to my V70R. I'm going to be driving my V70R to the same places that this is going. The drag strip, the dyno again, the track. It's going to be ridiculous what I have planned personally for this channel over the course of the next year. And the V70R is my favorite car all time that I've ever owned. So will this actually supplant it? Will this become my new favorite car ever? Also, I affectionately call my V70R the dad wagon, because that's basically what it is. It's an enthusiast's dad wagon or mom wagon that you would take kids around to and just have fun with. Mine is tuned to 450 horsepower at the crank, and I want to see if this thing can do similar stuff to that. Can you throw car seats in the back of this thing? I'm sure you can, but I want to do that personally and bring you that because I think it's a really interesting spin, and you don't see a lot of dad-mobile content out there. So, can the E90 M3 dad? You'll definitely get that video in the coming year. That sounded nice. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. In the next few videos, you will get my first drive, everything that's wrong. My name is Gregson. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe for tons more content on this and our Volvos to come. Give it a thumbs up and follow us on social media. All the links are in the description below on Instagram, on Facebook, and you can find all of our content on any of those places. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. See ya.